the difficult environment that was not welcoming when I initially came into my job. We should teach humans to weld like robots. In the last 25, 30 years, I think I'm driven with a strong passion to solve human problems, coming up with solutions that actually addresses, but your focus is not only industry, you also have your personnel, your staff, empathy, sincerity, and passion to solve the problem of the human society. That is my keyword for leadership.
So I am your host Gaurav Garg, and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Ayo. He is an entrepreneur and technically driven chief executive officer with close to 20 years of professional leadership experience across manufacturing management, management system implementation, policy development and implementation, board responsibilities to manufacturing and or quality management organization and technology ambassador. Exceptionally innovative in the development and application of deep and cost-effective solution in production management. Facilitator and builder of world-class technology and product development teams with specialty in both startup and scale business growth stages. Skilled in bottom line financial performance impact, he is currently Chief Executive at Nigerian Institute of Welding. It's a pleasure to welcome Ayo to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that you would like to share on our show.
With regards to childhood memories, I wouldn't say I have any fond childhood memories. I think if I will mention a childhood memory, it will be just one that I remember that my dad came to my secondary school and he came to verify how I and my siblings were performing in school. And I was in quote, the stubborn one. So he got some good commendations from the principal, and that was a shock to him. He was surprised. He didn't expect something good. So I think it made me feel proud as for the first time I was disappointed in him. I think that would be one childhood memory that I might not forget until my dying days.
So what about your educational background, schooling and higher education?
I have a first degree in industrial metallurgy. I have a second degree in industrial metallurgy and corrosion management. That is blending the two of metallurgy and corrosion. In addition to my degree in that, I also have an IIW International Welding Diploma in welding. I'm a welding engineer. And I would say I have a DMB certificate in process mapping, risk management, quality management, Biography, a certificate here and there. I also have a certificate in mini MBA. I did a mini MBA that's in management. So
what was your dream profession as a child?
As a child, my dream was to become a pilot. I always wanted to become a pilot. Unfortunately, as a child in Nigeria back then, you can only become a pilot whether you go outside of the country or you join the Air Force. So there was no easy route to becoming a pilot back then. So it was a huge limitation. And I guess that was why I could not really follow my dream.
So what about your hobbies and interests?
As a child, my hobby was martial arts. I did a lot of martial arts as a child. Martial arts, table tennis, those were my hobbies. In the last 25, 30 years, I think I'm driven with a strong passion to solve human problems. A very strong passion. I like that I'm able to give a solution to any problem that comes across my path and leave a smile on the face of whoever I get to be. I think that's my greatest hobby now. That's what I enjoy doing the most. It's what gets me excited.
Where did you start your professional journey from?
My first job was as an admin officer in a global education consulting. I was an admin officer, but I had a lot of things on my table. I was doing a whole lot. So the job really exposed me to a lot of things. From there, because I've always been the one that has unusual insight into things. After that, my first job, I started a company with a family member, Snowberry Consult, which is another consulting firm. So I was the pioneer business development director. The company did quite well, but when the money started coming in, there were kind of disagreement. I wanted us to follow the plan, but the other party was not interested in following the plan. So because of this disagreement in objective, I had to leave the company. Then I joined the Nigerian Institute of Welding. I joined as a technical officer. I served there compulsory government service. I started as a technical officer, and I think that was how I kept going. I think that's the shortest summary of my professional journey.
What was the first task you did post getting your first job?
I do not know about the Indian system, but in our own system, we have what you call industrial attachment, where you do a lot of service job, you're not being paid. I did a lot of those. Then something along the line that I also cut off, one of a strong professional experience for me was my mother had a company that was into marketing of oil related products, and because she was aging, she could not keep up. So the company was dying. So in between, when I left that Snowberry consult and joined Nigerian Welding, I had to manage the company myself. It was a huge responsibility, very huge responsibility. I mean, marketing, management, technical, it was a lot of responsibility. I would say that was my first real major task before I launched into the formal industry.
So what were your initial days challenges?
This is a very touching question, because the biggest challenge I faced when I entered NW was that I was not welcome. The environment did not really welcome. A lot of things were frustrating for me, and a handful of persons tried to make my experience very difficult. But I had a boss that believed in me, so he gave me opportunities to display what knowledge and skill I had to offer. But generally, the environment was hostile to me when I came in from the onset. I was not welcome, and everything was done to push me out. But I stayed put. Luckily, today I'm the chief executive.
So what about your roles and responsibilities as chief executive at Nigerian Institute of Welding?
My responsibilities in Nigerian Welding, it's all encompassing. When you are the chief executive, you're responsible for the system. You're responsible for aligning management activities in line with the vision of the institution, as well as managing the image of the organization. You are heavily responsible for driving the continuity of the organization and satisfaction of your staff and personnel. That's one side. On the other side, you are responsible in your management activities to develop content and solutions that actually solve the real problems that are existing in the industry. For instance, skill development is not just to award skills, but how effective are your training processes? Do they actually impact the skill which in the industry that they appreciate? That's one aspect. Another aspect is technologically. What deep end recommendations can you give to the industry in terms of best practices? Say, hey, this system is good, but we think if you apply it this way or you adopt this machine, it might be this, but it might drop your operational cost, increase your productivity, and may put you in a better format to get more to become more technically competent. So as a chief executive, you must keep coming up with solutions that actually addresses, but your focus is not only industry, you also have your personnel, your staff. If your staff are not satisfied, if they are not motivated, you also will not be able to provide solutions. So you are also responsible to keep your staff motivated, to provide solutions to their professional, technical, financial challenges as well. That's the job. I think that's the summary of my job as a chief executive.
So tell us about Nigerian Institute of Welding.
We are into the supervision and qualification of personnel, welding personnel across all levels, from welder to the welding engineer, as well as providing the other services like I just told you about now. For now, Nigerian Welding is like the primary go-to body in Nigeria for welding related issues. We are one of the only two AMBs in Africa. That's in addition to South Africa. We are the second AMB so we're one of the two AMBs in Africa, and we are also one of the foundational members for the Welding Federation of Africa. So we're doing a lot of things both on the national and continental scene in terms of trying to develop welding to be able to create jobs, create opportunities, and to improve the standard of living for Nigerians and Africans in general. So we're a foundational member of the Welding Federation of Africa.
So what was the most challenging phase of your journey?
The difficult environment that was not welcoming when I initially came into my job. And as a chief executive officer, it's very tasking. It's very, very tasking. Sometimes it's not necessarily as rosy as a lot of people think, being a chief executive. Maybe you take more punches than you take more pampering as a chief executive. So I think it's, I'll say my initial start then coming in here and trying to drive solution, especially in light since 2019 when the COVID thing started, when there's a drop in a lot of expenditures. The industry was totally recalibrated. A lot of companies were wanting better solution at almost no cost. So it means that as a chief executive, you have to dig deeper into your arsenals of management to come up with solutions that will be relevant and applicable to the current climate, not just technically, but also the socio-economic reality on ground. A lot of people think that post-COVID, the greatest solution is taking everything online, but that is not correct. If you go online and you digitize things, yet you don't have content, the company will still fail. It's not about going online. It's about coming up with contents that are truly relevant and applicable and solve the problems, the most pressing problems that companies have. I think so. It has been a really challenging period for companies all over. Same with me. I think that I'll say that those are my most challenging experiences.
So what's that one thing you love about your journey the most?
I love it when I'm able to solve people's problems. It gives me great joy. I'm happy to see people smile. Oh, I'm happy. For me, that is beyond money. When you're genuinely able to make impact in the lives of people. I think each time I see that you brought a problem for me and I was able to solve it and give you a solution satisfactorily. So the collection of each of those moments that I was able to solve people's problems and they were genuinely happy with what I did for them. I think I'll say those were the most beautiful moments for me about my journey, my professional journey thus far.
So what is the future of technology in welding industry?
This is a very, very big question. So in the current climate, you're likely to hear there are three words that are now very, very common: augmented reality, virtual reality, and robotization. Everybody believes this is the future, but I do not agree. I think the human content of societal production can never be eliminated. I believe you can only use these evolving technologies to complement human skills. I will make a quote from the late president of IIW. He said, we should teach humans to weld like robots. There's always going to be a blend of both industry. Another thing that I see that is going to come up in the welding industry is that a lot of the big players before now will eventually be demystified. I see there is a growing awareness and passion by people all over the world to solve their own problems, to attain that state of codependency and not full dependency. So I see a case where in the welding industry, maybe the influence of some of the big names, maybe in the next 10, 20 years, they might wear down and they might not necessarily be the most basic reference standards again. I mean, there's going to be a lot of fragmentation of the industry. Yes, they might adopt the skills, but you'll see new alliances and new formations and new blocks being formed to address problems that are common across people. For instance, let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Maybe, so there's going to be a lot of realliances, breakup of alliances and reformation of new alliances. Maybe going into the future, maybe in Nigeria might want to look at an India and say we share a lot of similarities in the nature of our economy. We have large population. We have large population of women. We have maybe we have similar climate. That means we share a lot of similarity in the challenges we face. So why don't we form better alliances and form uniform solution? It means we now share the resources that will be plugged into developing solutions that address our shared problems. I see those kind of formations coming up very soon, where some big names that have driven that. So I see such alliances coming up very soon that will make our digitalization solve everything. I think the digitalization is part of the solution to the future. but it's not necessarily everything. The human content is a larger part of solution to human society. This is my opinion.
So how would you define leadership?
I don't have a sentence to describe leadership, but I have keywords that I use to define leadership. Anybody that embodies these things will most likely be an effective leader. Empathy, sincerity, and passion to solve the problem of the human society. That is my keyword for leadership. Empathy. You must be able to feel what the people feel. If you are able to combine leadership, for me, is empathy, sincerity, and passion to solve human problems. If you have passion and you do not have empathy and sincerity, you are not a leader. You are only going to take advantage of the people. So you must have empathy, sincerity, and passion to solve the problem of the people. For me, that is leadership. Because when you have these three, you will make sacrifices for the people.
So with your 20 plus years of experience, what all technology related upgradation have you seen in the field of welding?
In my 20 years plus experience, what I've seen are the new upgrades to welding technology are things like automation of welding processes, as well as development of newer welding processes. For instance, friction stir welding that are being used to weld advanced or difficult to weld materials or dissimilar materials. Another thing you'll find again is the evolution of advanced NDT methods that are making inspection of welding and welding related products easy to access. I think those are some of the biggest upgrades to the welding industry in the last 20 years. That's my opinion.
So what would be your advice for young engineering students?
My biggest advice to maybe welding students that probably don't want to take the career maybe in welding or civil, at the start, don't focus on money. Focus on learning. From learning, serve. There is a lot of benefits in service. So I'll say don't focus on money. Learn. After you learn, serve. Serve and become a solution. Like I said, serve and become a solution to someone's problem. When you become a solution to someone's problem, the money will naturally come. But don't focus on money at the beginning. That's my recommendation.
So what are do's and don'ts you should remember while starting your career journey?
The golden word: embrace empathy, sincerity, contentment, and have a deep quest for knowledge. That's my formula.
So now we'll start a rapid round.
Okay.
So how would you define success in one line?
For me, success is being a solution to somebody's problem. Gura, no matter what you do, no matter how complex or complicated or high tech, whatever you do, if it does not solve somebody's problem, it's not a solution.
So your favorite destination?
My favorite destination is Finland.
Your favorite adventure sports?
I'm not sure. I don't think I have a favorite adventure.
So your favorite color?
Oh, my favorite color. I wouldn't say I have a favorite color.
If you want to choose one thing to achieve success, which is luck, hard work, and smart work, what would be that one thing you will choose?
I will pick smart work, but I will tell you the problem here. When you want to achieve success, my belief is that you need 70% smart work and 30% hard work. But when you attain success, definitely you can. So you cannot pick between smart work and hard work. They go together. Luck, I do not necessarily believe in luck.
So at last, one line that defines you.
I'm passionate about making impact in this life. That's all.
Thank you very much for your time.
That's the summary.
Trusting our show to share your life journey.
Thank you very much for your time and your attention and taking me in your program. I'm happy and I feel fulfilled that I am identified as somebody to inspire people. I will always be happy and willing to do whatever I can to inspire the generation coming after us. It's what I live for, to make impact. And that's why I was willing to participate.
Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.